Vine played with the gun in her hand, the one which was given to her by Jungkook, which he never took back. The gun had his initials carved on it, JK. The mere fact he gave her his special weapon was seducing to her already. Her phone vibrated as she took it out to see the upcoming text. The lights of the club she was in provided her with purplish hues all over her skin. She was in the VIP area, where the bombastic sound was much less to her precious ears. It was a text from her father, demanding her presence. She was the daughter of a huge mafia and helped her dad along in his work. She ignored the text and stood off the couch, her eyes searching for that one person she knew was going to come here tonight. And like the red strings attaching her with that person, she saw a glimpse of him, hidden in the shadows before he disappeared again. A satisfied smile appeared on her lips as she tucked his gun in her belt and went after him. She walked past the crowd so smoothly, her eyes sharp, as they sensed his strong aura around her. A hand wrapped around her wrist before she pulled out of the crowd and slammed against the wall. She chuckled, knowing who it was, or he wouldn't be able to touch her if she didn't allow. Vian, you really like pinning me against flat surfaces, don't you? Jungkook, what are you doing here? He asked through his black hood, and his face engulfed in shadows. Vian, I came after you, Mr. Assassin. The mystery beneath the facade. Jungkook's eyes bored into hers. He had done enough research on her after their first meetup. A daughter of a mafia, he had worked for her several times. She was untouchable, made him wonder how easily she let him around her. It was suspicious to begin with. Jungkook, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Ryan, maybe that's what makes it interesting. Jungkook, I can't afford distractions, he said as he stepped back, but then she wrapped her arms around his neck, keeping him close to her. Jungkook, and that's what exactly you are, he whispered. Ryan, don't push me away, she whispered back and nuzzled her nose in the nape of his neck. Jungkook, even if he wanted to, couldn't push her away. She was doing a lot of things to his dead heart, and he needed to stay away for the sake of his sanity. Jungkook, you want things I can't provide you with, neither protection nor a future. Ryan, I can't protect myself, and future? I wake up every day without any hopes of coming back to bed alive. What more excuses do you have? She was stubborn, and Jungkook didn't have the courage to push her away, not when she drives him insane. But he knew better, the world he lived in, and the kind of people he was surrounded by. He couldn't trust Annie, not after he was betrayed a dozen times, and decided to not trust again, no matter how truthful a person is. He held her wrist to push her away, but she stayed, stuck to him. Ryan, I know what you're thinking. I have an empire to protect me, but you only have yourself. You have trust issues, and so do I. How about a chance? She looked in his eyes, and she knew. She hit the spot. She kissed his cheek and he balled his fist. All he wanted was to kiss her and disappear in the shadows, but this time with her in his arms. Before he could reply, she suddenly pushed him away. The air around him shifted. Something very fast and sharp flew right beside him. Vine's body now had a huge hole, and blood flew out of it. Jungkook grabbed her wrist, pulling her behind him. He cursed. His body moved faster than his brain. It all happened in a blink of an eye. The next moment, and he found the source of the attack through the crowd, eyes searching the attacker like a scanner, and he took out the gun from Vine's belt and shot the man right in the eyes. The bullet sound erupted through the crowd as the gun had no silencer. The chaos began. People screamed and started to run out. Jungkook placed his hand over Vine's wound and picked her up, rushing out from the back door. He cursed and then cursed again. This wasn't supposed to go this way. Jungkook, why? He screamed as he placed her down on the ground out of the club. Jungkook, it was meant for me. Why did you take it? Wyan, you let your guard down because of me, and I needed to gain your trust. So if I survive this, let me in. Jungkook closed his eyes, putting pressure on her wound. A car stopped right in front of him, and he placed Wyan inside as they rushed to his personal doctor. She was treated, but the wound was deep, and its position was wrong. It left her unable to walk for 3 weeks. She received her therapy. Even if she could walk after 3 weeks, she couldn't on her own. She needed support to do so. Jungkook knew she was hating this, but never once complained. As long as it was for him, she didn't complain, and everything about it pulled him even more closer to her. He stayed beside her almost the whole time. The support she needed to stand and walk was him. The hand she needed to feed her was his. The care she needed to heal was provided by him. Jungkook was met by her father as well, who was really angry at this whole situation. But Wine handled it well, protecting Jungkook even when he didn't need protection. She was laying in his bed now, in Jungkook's room. He asked her to stay with him for at least as long as she healed completely. She happily accepted it like a fool. He sat beside her on a chair. His upper body was leaning forward, elbows on the bed, and his hand caressing her hair. Their eyes were on the mobile in Wine's hand, going through a series of dresses she wanted to buy and wear once she get better. Jungkook, red one. I'm sure you'll slay that color. Wine, can I say you were imagining me in that color? He asked as she added the dress to the cart. Jungkook, yes, I was. Something warm flashed in her eyes as she looked at him, and he placed a kiss on her head. If they were not together, she wouldn't believe a man like him was capable of displaying affection. Jungkook, wanna try walking? Ryan, nope, I'm lazy. She turned back to her phone and continued her shopping. Jungkook knew her well. When she was in the middle of receiving affection from him, she would dismiss every other thing, and that only made him want to spoil her with love. Jungkook, okay, I can go work out then. She grabbed his arm instantly. Ryan, let's walk. He laughed and glared at him. He helped her up, getting her to the edge of the bed. She held him tightly as she got up on her feet. Jungkook's arm was around her waist, and she slowly took one step at a time. Jungkook, you're doing much better and faster. He encouraged her to do some more. They did it for some time until her energy was drained out, and Jungkook got her in his arms, going back to bed. He took a seat so she was on his lap. Wine, I want to sleep. Jungkook kissed her head in reply to that. He wasn't too good with words, but he always showed it with his actions that he cared for her and she was precious to him in every possible way. Slowly, she was becoming something so important to him. After so long, a treasure to hold on to in his life. Someone who took his loneliness away and gave him reasons to find love and happiness. He looked down at her, and she was sleeping already, probably tired from the earlier activity. He placed a kiss to her temple and laid down, keeping her in his protective embrace.